All right. Well, welcome back to the channel. So unfortunately, it's a video I never want to make, but you can see what has happened. My A1 and my 200 to 600 millimeter lens were essentially, I was gonna say destroyed today, but they're not destroyed. They are heavily damaged. Yeah, I was. First off, let me just say, and I did make a little short about this too with some of this footage, but yeah, I've been doing photography for about 15 years, and I've never broken a camera before. I've never dropped one. I've never had like one on a tripod tip over like in the wind. I'm always very careful, and yeah, I've never had anything like this happen where it just shatters. so so what happened today? And I mean, I've never even broken like a cell phone before. Like I've never accidentally jumped in the pool and a phone was in my pocket. Like I've never broken a phone ever before. I've never broken like a screen. I'm always very safe and careful. But today, and this was a complete freak accident. I was debating going out today because it's cold here today and it's very windy and it's just not good shooting conditions. But it's a weekend, and I just have a pet peeve about not going out on a day off to do like photography. I'm just like, no, even if it's bad conditions or it's gonna be cold and windy, like you should still go out, because to me, I just hate like not using my free time. So I was like, yeah, just let's go. I was gonna go to a great horned owl nest that's about 10 minutes away from my house and see if we had little baby owlets yet. And yeah, so I was planning on going for maybe like 30 minutes, an hour. And I loaded everything up. I loaded up my backpack with a couple of other lenses because I was gonna maybe shoot some B-roll and do some like wide angle stuff. And yeah, had my backpack on, and then my camera and the 200-600 lens I had attached. And then I was carrying the camera out to my car by the tripod, like the little foot that attaches to the tripod. So I was carrying it, and the camera strap was kind of dangling low. And I went out to my back. I have a detached garage in the back, so I was walking out my back door towards the garage, and my dog was running around. He was very excited. He thought we were going on a walk. And I was like, no, we're not going on a walk. I'm sorry, buddy. And he was still, running around. And, I was finding my key in my pocket to unlock my garage door. And as soon as I opened the door, even just a little crack, Sebastian, my dog, went running through because, again, he was very excited. He thought we were going on a walk. And as he went through the door, he jumped through the camera strap that was dangling down, and it went around his neck. And he ran into the garage, which of course I was not ready for. So it ripped the camera just right out of my hand. And it fell onto the concrete floor of my garage. And of course, as it happened, like I'm picturing it back, and I just picture it in slow motion. The camera just, and I'm like, no. And it just boom. And so I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no. And yeah, I picked up the camera and noticed right away the LCD screen was broken. And immediately I was like, that's okay. Hey, that's not the worst thing. Like that's okay. Let me flip the camera on. And camera came on. The back screen was all rainbow colors, like it wasn't working. But I looked through the eyepiece and saw like the menu system, the camera itself seemed like it was still working. And the telephoto lens was still attached to it. So I looked up and I was it was focusing, and I was able to take some pictures. And I was like, oh, it's just the LCD screen. Like, that sucks, but that's not the worst thing ever. And I was like, he was still running around, and I was like, Sebastian, I was like, please, we're not going on a walk. But I was like, you know what? I'm still going to go do my photography. Like, I will deal with this when I get home. Like, I want to go out and shoot. So I get in the car and I drive to, like I said, about 10 minutes away to the little spot. And I get out of the car, I put my backpack on, I get my tripod, and then I go grab the camera and I throw it over my shoulder, the shoulder strap, and the lens, the telephoto lens, just snaps off and just and falls down onto the pavement of the little parking lot I was at. And I was like, well, that's really not good. I was like, that's not good. And so this is the little piece right here that connects to the camera. Like that's the little, adapter for the E-mount. And that, as you can see, is broken as well. So when I first picked the camera back up after it fell in the garage, it must have just been hanging on by like a thread. And then as soon as I put the camera over my shoulder and started walking, it didn't hold on anymore and it snapped off. It broke. So, that's where we're at. Obviously then I came home. I was like, okay, I guess I'm not taking photos today. So I came home and I started looking up online, just like replacement parts. I was like, I'm gonna fix all this stuff myself. And that's a joke. I can't do that. I don't know how to fix this stuff. So then I started more sensibly. I was like, well, let me call some camera stores around to see if they do repair. Because I was like, I know ultimately the answer is I'm probably going to have to send the lens and the camera off to Sony directly to replace. And I called Mike's Camera and they said, no, we do repair. We have like a repair facility up in Boulder. So bring it in here and we'll ship it up to Boulder. That way you don't have to send it off to Sony. It can be a little bit quicker. And I was like, oh, okay. So within an hour after this happening, I was in the car going to Mike's Camera to take this stuff in because I want to get this in as fast as I can because I figure this is going to take a couple of weeks at least. And I just can't imagine not having a camera because this is the only camera that I have. Like, I don't have a backup camera. I don't have any other camera. So, but they took it in. The guy at at Mike's Camera looked at it and he was like, oh yeah, what is this? Like a little A7? And I was like, no, it's an A1. And he was like, oh God. He's like, oh my God. He's like, I am so sorry, man. This is horrible. And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. So, but he said, looking at the pieces from the lens that are broken and then obviously the LCD, he thinks everything is completely fixable. So, but yeah, no, he said it's going to be about 4 to 6 weeks. So that is now a month to a month and a half where I am not going to have a camera. I am not going to have any way to go out and shoot anything. I'm not going to have any way to make any YouTube videos. I'm not going to have any way to do anything for a month and a half. Obviously that's not that's not acceptable to me. Like, I don't accept that reality. So I am I've got a couple of ideas. Maybe I could just go rent a camera for a couple weeks or a month. I imagine that's very expensive. And I think renting is probably better, like to just rent a couple of days, like at a time where I know I'm going to go out and do photography. But that's not really the way I work. I'm very sporadic, where I just feel like going to do photography, so I can just go get in the car and go. So I'm not sure renting is probably a great idea. I'm trying to think if I have any friends who just happen to have like hey, has anyone got like an A7 just like laying around that they're not using? I don't know if that's the case. Well, the other part of it too is my 200 to 600 lens, my main lens for doing wildlife stuff. That's gone too. So, but I do have my Tamron, that 50 to 400, which is perfectly capable of doing good wildlife. So I have a lens. So I'm almost wondering now if maybe I will just buy a camera, maybe just like an A7 IV, or maybe like a used A7R3 or an R4, and just use that for like a month and a half. And then when I'm done, just then sell it and get most of the money back, I would think. Or maybe it'd be worth having like a backup camera again, So, anyways, that's what happened today, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But again, the bottom line is I'm just happy that this stuff is going to be fixable. I was more worried about the lens, like when this breaks and you see all this like microchips and stuff in there, that makes me really nervous. But they think that this is fixable, so that's the bottom line. But yeah, I'm gonna have to figure something out here because, like I said, I can't go a month and a half without doing photography or making videos for the channel. So I'll be back. I just don't know when, but I can guarantee you I will be back sooner than a month and a half. So but that's what's going on. If you don't see anything here for a minute, that's what's up. So I will try to keep. I think I'll still be able to like do some cool stuff with shorts. So always look out for that. I was really against making shorts, but I've actually taken to it a little bit, and they do pretty well. So yeah, I'll keep making those. But yeah, that's what's going on right now. So thanks for watching. I wish it was a video on better terms, but it is what it is. So yeah, but I'll keep everyone here updated. Thanks.